What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MyMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I'm taking a second look at Kung Fu Panda 2. This is because Kung Fu Panda 4 is coming as a review, so I'm teeing you up by going through the franchise. Kung Fu Panda 2 does have available audio description, as does the first one, I should point that out. Now, with the first one, I was optimistic and I thought it was on my DVD, and then I noticed on audio description project that we didn't even have it listed, that physical media had audio description on it, so I was over there just trying my DVD Blu-ray for nothing. But the second one supposedly has it on the DVD. I have a Blu-ray. So I guess I didn't get it. Once again, I got director's commentary, so maybe not. I don't know. Your version may or may not have it, but it's always funny because we don't distinguish on the audio description project between DVD and Blu-ray. So it's just like physical media. It's like, do you own physical media? It might be on there. So I watched this again without audio description. I also noticed it's on Apple Plus right now, which is so random because it's the only Kung Fu Panda that's on Apple Plus. I'm like, why do you only have two? Anyway, so everybody's back for this film, and our Poe, our dragon warrior, has had a little bit more time to be a dragon warrior, but his revelation is in the idea. And what's hilarious about this film is, and I love the exchange when he sits down and he's talking with Tigress, and it's probably the best exchange in the whole movie. Is when he's like, yeah, I just realized that my dad is not my real dad. And she's like, your dad, the goose, is not your real father. This must have come as a total shock to you. And I was just, and I'm like, yeah, that about tracks it. And it says so much about Poe. Just that one conversation. It still made me laugh. Like, I'm not like the biggest fan of this sequel. I think it's very much like a sequel that was made to have a sequel. Not like a sequel that was made because they were like, oh, I know where we're going to take the story next. Some films feel like that, where they feel like, okay, well, so we ended here, where does that put our story? And with Kung Fu Panda, it just feels like, well, we have to send them on another adventure, obviously. So, okay. So we have to save Kung Fu. What does that mean? What does that look like to you? You know? And it involves some wolves and new voice actors, and I don't know, it's just not as fun, and it's definitely not as fun without audio description. It didn't have quite the ingenuity behind it, and the surprises and the creativity of the original, and the themes and everything. It just kind of feels like a sequel. It feels like a sequel that mostly works, but doesn't quite give you that feeling of, oh, we took what we did and we made it better. And there are sequels that do that. Toy Story 2, absolutely, in my opinion, actually took what Toy Story did, which was exceptional, and figured out a way how to make it better. Figured out a way how to flip it, figured out the characters it needed to do to introduce it, and made a film that is actually better. And Jessie's song, When She Loved Me, is beautiful and really just brings that whole film in. And when they start talking about like discarded toys, it's something that Toy Story 3 brings up again, and they bring up again like throughout the series, are toys that are discarded, because you don't really deal with that in the first Toy Story, but the idea of the toys that get left behind, the toys that get put away, all the toys in the first Toy Story are all pretty much happy because Andy's young and plays with them, and it becomes sort of like a darker, more adult tone, and about being put away in storage and stuff like that, and never being played with, and never having, for a prospector, he never has. I'm talking a lot about Toy Story 2 in the review of Kung Fu Panda 2. What I'm saying is there are a lot of heavy themes In Toy Story 2, there really aren't heavy themes in Kung Fu Panda 2. Kung Fu Panda 2 is just like, the goose is not my father? I'm a panda. This is shocking to me. That's like it's not a serious revelation because it's so hilariously stupid. So it's like, if that's the best you've got, it doesn't come across as something that feels like it has anything weighty to it. Now, I gave the first film a pass because, like I said, when I gave the first film an A minus. If you haven't watched that review, now you have no reason to. But I said I feel like the Kung Fu Panda team would be fine with A minuses, because if you're talking about how, because in animation we have the ability and we've created films with so much weight and meaning and story behind them, Kung Fu Panda is just fun. If it's just the best kind of fun and it just taps out at A minus, and you're just saying, well, it's a lot of fun, it lacks the gravitas of Up, or I don't know, Spirited Away, Toy Story 2. Pick your poison, How to Train Your Dragon, something. If it lacks the gravitas of an animated film that is able to rope in not just adventure but humor, and also moments that make you go, oh, moments that make you cry. Animation can do that, and Kung Fu Panda is just trying to be the most fun movie that it can be. I don't know that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that there's a level above it. And if you prefer that level, like I do, I prefer the level that makes me think, then Kung Fu Panda just is right below that. And that's, again, doesn't mean that the film did anything wrong. So A minus is just like acknowledging that there was something that's better, something that's an A. When you're ranking films, you could do your top 10 films of the year, and I could put Kung Fu Panda in at number 7. I'm still indicating there's 6 films that I liked more than that, but then at the same time, Kung Fu Panda would be super excited to be on my top 10 list. So it's all relative. And so for Kung Fu Panda 2, it comes in and it's just trying to recreate the fun of the original, but the fun of the original was that it was original. So it doesn't quite have that reason for you to see the 2. Like, what is it about 2? It doesn't really introduce a fun character like Shrek does with Puss in Boots, where Puss in Boots comes in and you're like, oh, well, this was the reason to have a sequel. This is a memorable character that instantly comes in, and even though I don't know that we needed to see the story of Shrek and Fiona at the castle, they kind of made Shrek 2 work. I don't think the other Shreks work for me, but Shrek 2 does. So Kung Fu Panda 2 is not quite on the level of Kung Fu Panda 1. There's adventure, there's fun, there's jokes. There's this one great joke. This is a great joke. I will give them that. The joke where Po is legitimately, like, mind blown that the goose is not his father is something that you always just, like, assumed in the first film, that he knew that he was, like, some version of adopted, but they just didn't, like, say it out loud. And then when the second film rolls with the fact that Po actually thinks that is his dad, that's brilliant. So, but the rest of the film just kind of feels like these are new villains, this is the story, and Po's a dragon warrior, fight. So, and of course it lacks audio description, so it has combat sequences that you can't really understand without audio description. The humor's lost because a lot of the stuff is cartoonish and there's nothing there to describe it. So if you watch it without audio description, then yeah, my grade is unwatchable. If you're asking me, like, where do I put this film, just like I said last time, actually, because Kung Fu Panda, my grade was unwatchable because I watched it without audio description. Where do I remember Kung Fu Panda 2 being? And then this is a reminder. Like I said, I think it's a okay sequel, but I don't know that it's necessarily answers all the questions as to why we needed it. So I would give it a B. I'm going to give Kung Fu Panda 2 a B from a memory standpoint of having seen the film before. Actually owning it. It's funny because I own 1 and 2, I don't own 3. So 3 is going to get progressively. I don't have high hopes for 4 because I feel like with every film in this franchise, they find less reason to make a sequel. So we'll see. I'll remain optimistic, though, going into 4. I promise, with the most optimism. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.